Hi there, guys. This is Jiu-Jitsu, and we are here with another premier Into the Realms something draft. Forgotten Realms, Forgotten Realms. Yeah. So we have a Wizard Spellbook, Exile Instant, or a Sorcery. I've actually never seen that card. So this is pretty cool. It's crazy expensive, but it's pretty cool, right? Just lets you like recycle stuff. We also have a Grim Wanderer, the very aggressive Battlecry Goblin, which I love. We have a Gretchen if we want to play control. We have the white removal. We have the Pixie. So this card looks spectacular, but it's so very expensive. I'm not sure I want to play into it, especially with all of the artifact hate going around. Probably going to be the Goblin. Very fond of this guy. You can also cast him on turn 4 and often get a very interesting effect. Sorry, that's the, what's that? So we'll go for the Goblin. I think I have a certain bias towards green-red, red-green. We have a purple worm. So nothing too exciting. I guess this is pretty decent. Venture into the dungeon. Yeah, that's pretty nice. 2/3 for 2. Purple worm. So dropping this guy on turn 5 is clearly pretty ridiculous. He also has ward 2, which makes it more difficult to deal with him. I think that since we're taking the goblin, we are going to want to orient ourselves toward the slightly earlier game. Though tempting, I think I'll go with the Outlander. I'm thinking about things we might want to wheel. This doesn't seem too exciting, and I don't think that. Actually, I've never played green white in this variant. I'm fairly new to it, so I'll go with the Outlander. Here we have a barbarian class. Maneuver is an interesting combat trick, but slightly off color. We have the Null Hunter, which is a very viable pick. Not too excited about the Bard, to be honest. Barbarian class. I don't know, I think it's pretty good in red-blue, I guess, where you have a lot of rolling effects. Currently not that many on our end. It does feel a bit early to pick up the Null Hunter. I always feel like there's an abundance of 2-drops we can pick from, and then I end up having less 2-drops than I'd like. So I wonder if we should try to remedy that earlier on. Because hitting them 2-drops is pretty important. So here we have a Owl Bear, which I'm fond of, by the way. 5 for 4/4 trample is a decent. It's a decent buy if you draw a card off it. Earth Cult Elementals are also nice, but just a bit higher up in the curve. In terms of other options, the uncommons are pretty awful. I've played with this once and it was very consistently underwhelming. I feel like bouncing 2 creatures is the least this card could do, and it often does less than that in this format. So definitely not a fan. Mimic is not very exciting. Sacrifice is so crazy for something that costs 2. And I think that Owlbears are probably better off curve-wise than the Elementals. Elementals tend to go pretty late. I lost to this. This was a very painful experience for me. First draft. These guys are loathsome. Other alternatives, Giant, nah. Great Axe is ridiculously expensive. I'd say White's open, but it's not. The allies, they're okay. They're decent. I think we'll take the Troll. Trolls are fun. Cool, so this turns into removal if we have treasures. Otherwise, it's just a +1/+1. +1/+0. Oh, sorry. No, it's removal, period. And in addition, for each mana... Okay, from treasure. So you hit a dude, but if you use treasure from different mana, then he also gets +1/+0. So that's interesting removal. It's potentially a 2-for-1 if you misplay it. But otherwise, I think it's quite decent. We have some decent aggro cards as well. In case we're low on removal, we'll take this. We're not married into red, by the way. We've only picked the Battlecry Goblin thus far, so should probably start looking into other colors. Unless we pick up something crazy in pack 2. 2 basic land, reveal and put them into your hand. That's pretty nice. So that's cute. Smith is pretty good as well if you have equipment. What does this do? Harmony counter. So you just fetch stuff, right? And that's the gist. Smith is good, but I don't think he's good in green-white. Top 4 cards, reveal an artifact. Yeah, I think I'll take this, and I'll figure out what it does later. The other card's also decent, but it's more for a ramp deck, and I think we want to hit face. I wonder. These are 1 games. The Premier Draft does not have sideboard, which is funky, by the way. It's a very, very funky format. So these aren't particularly high on the pick list. I guess Bar the Gate can be decent if you want to venture into dungeons and if we're dropping the aggro plan. Okay, so you may, and then you fetch the creature. And then you put it into the hand. Then you create a treasure if it's legendary. So, I guess like you can fetch guys, which is interesting. Spellbook Wield. Anything else interesting here? Yeah, sure. Well, let's go for it. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I guess the Cell Swords can be decent if you have a lot of treasures, but doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. This guy's cool. He's a decent 4-drop. Who knows? Maybe green-white is the life for me. Yar har har har. It's the green-white life for me. This I will even consider main decking. The maces are painful. Ooh. That's pretty good, right? I like ye. So that's gonna be our pick. A horror frog. Looks like something out of Princess Mononoke. It's actually less scary than the stuff from Princess Mononoke. That stuff's pretty scary. Do not mess with forest spirits. Magic Missile is good as well, but we're not really in red at the moment. There is a case for picking stuff that makes us treasures. Like if we see some interesting low drops, we might consider that. Yeah, but okay, I don't know. There are some interesting cards that might wheel. Given our last pack, I think that we might even want to steer away from red and try to look for something else interesting. So this is nice removal. This is pretty cool. Though we haven't seen too much black either. So this is good stuff. This is a option. Grim Bounty is less splashable, but it is removal. Otherwise, not too fond of Potion of Healing. This is pretty awful. This, like, theoretically, you can turn 4. No, actually, not even. You can activate it first time on turn 5 for 2 treasures. So yeah, that's fairly awkward. 1/2 Death Touch, not exciting. I think the only really interesting cards we have here are in black. And so we'll take one of them. It's not necessary that black is open, but who's to say? Maybe it is. Is green-black a theme here, even? Right? Except for venturing into dungeons together. Is there a game plan for green-black? So this is out of the question. Even if we see some red, it seems fairly highly contested in this table, especially to our right players. Here we have the option of a 2/1 dude or another Ray of Enfeeblement. I'm fairly fond of Ray of Enfeeblement. It's a powerful combat trick / hard removal if you're playing against white. Yeah, and if we get some skeletons and the likes, then I'm pretty content as well. And thing is, with picking low curve stuff, let's see what this does. We'll want to like go deep into black. Search your library for. That's pretty cool. If he has more lands than we do, so that's nice as well. That's also an option. And in green, I'm not overly fond, and we have quite a bit 5 drops. So we have the Dungeoneer for white, and like the only thing I consider taking otherwise is the Skeletons if we're dropping white altogether. I don't really like the idea of white anymore. This card is pretty cool, but I don't think white was too open either. Okay, I'm gonna take the Skeletons and just hope that we... Nope, white was open. God damn it. We bet on the wrong horse, so we should have gone for white maybe. Okay, meet in a tavern. Look at top 5 cards. Put any number of creatures. That's pretty nice. Or creatures you control get +2/+2, and you can like swarm the opponent, which is a decent finisher. This is a combat trick, which we do not have many of. We're really weak on 3 drops. I'm not saying that we should play Find a Path, but maybe we should play Find a Path. If we would have looked into white, would have perhaps taken this, but I think this is decent enough. And we'll start looking for cheaper curve stuff. Enters the battlefield, venture into a dungeon. If you've completed a dungeon. So that's the catch. If you've completed a dungeon. We do not have a lot of treasures, so this guy will not have a lot of value. Nor will we have a lot of creatures to sacrifice. So I guess this is some form of acceleration. We could have also take this guy, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, these are probably better since we have all of these 5 drops and we can scry with it. Yeah, let's do it. This seems pretty late. The Displacer Beast. I talked about it a bit last time. So it's a decent body for 3 mana. And it ventures into the dungeon. It can flicker. It can do a bunch of stuff. Wow, another one of those guys. They're not bad, actually. And since this is open as well. So we're probably not playing white. We'll see. Maybe if we get some ridiculous stuff, we might run him. Seems like there's a lot of dungeon venturing in our future. Here we have another Cursed Idol, if we so please. It's an awkward form of acceleration. We have a Deadly Dispute, which is not bad if we pick up a couple of these. I guess it's not bad to pick that up. I tend to think that we will see more Deadly Disputes. I think one is supposed to wheel, if memory serves. These I do not like playing. They're too slow. Too slow. Let's send the signal. Blue is open. Yeah, blue is crazy open. We should have gone for blue. Nobody's playing blue. Nobody likes blue. That being said, though, this is a pretty decent combat trick. You allegedly trade, and suddenly you don't. Let's take this guy. Ooh, green combat trick. Do we splash white? Or just rely on our treasures? That's what's going to happen. Minion of the Mighty. You may put a dragon creature from your hand. Okay, that's interesting. Not playable and limited in my opinion, but interesting. Ray of Frost, which we will not play. Seeing how our 3 drops are so few, this is probably going to be the pick. I think we might be splashing white like ever so slightly for these guys. We do want some more 2 drops as well. They're not going to be doing much if we don't get more 2 drops. And we'll probably hope to Find a Path. It's no Cultivate, but it's something. Evolving Wilds, interesting option. Skullport Merchant is probably going to be the pick. Phase Reversal is also pretty good with what we're trying to do here. I like both, actually. This guy is going to let us accelerate pretty well into turn 5, sorry. So it can drop one of these bad boys early on. Mm, yeah, I think we'll go with this guy. Curve and all. Here we have a choose your weapon or find a path. We also have druid class. I don't like druid class. You end up paying, so this isn't particularly useful unless you benefit from the life gain, and eventually you end up paying 10 mana to create a big creature. So la di da, and we'll just pick a choose your weapon. It's versatile. It'll let us deal with annoying flyers. That'll be our pick. Probably gonna axe these guys. We'll say deals combat damage to a player. Create a 2/1 spider with menace and reach. He's a 4/3. Not sure if he's gonna get through though. This, on the other hand, it gives you card advantage for not. It replaces itself for 3 mana. It's okay, I guess. I'm not sure if this guy's gonna hit face ever. That's my concern. The ranger might even be a bit better. Nothing I'm too excited about. No, let's take a dispute. Let's take a dispute. We're definitely gonna be cutting some things here. So 2 cursed idols is quite enough. We're very creature heavy. Nothing interesting in either white or black. I do not intend on playing a longbow or 3 idols, even though it's can kill enchantments and artifacts with it. I don't know if we'll run 2 of these. They're supposed to be finishers. Yeah, could be that we just didn't have a pick in that pack. Probably 1 dispute is enough. These I'm actually kind of fond of. Both this and the clutch are pretty good. We have 2. I think I'll go clutch. I'm very fond of clutch. I think that in limited format, a mind rot has its own merit. It is a powerful effect to have opponent discard 2 cards, whether you're on the play or on the draw. Add a small nuke to that. The mill is not very relevant, but add a small nuke to that, and I think it's a perfectly fine card. And we pick up another Null Hunter. I don't know about the Warlock class. It feels like it's a bit slow. I'll pick it, but I'm not sure if I want to play it. I might be misevaluating it, but try to like walk through how I think it's going to go down. This, on the other hand, not as exciting. You're just trading 1 for 1, and opponent is going to be throwing away the what he least wants. I don't think this should have gone that late, though. This is pretty good. This is pretty good stuff. So we'll take the reversal we wanted earlier on. We're going to have to make some cuts, and it's probably going to be more round curve than anything else. We're going to have to make some painful cuts. And we're probably not going to be playing either of these. Sure. A Mimic. So we have to axe 6 cards. So we might even drop 2 of these. We'll see. I think that we do well enough into the late game. We'll think about the 5 drops as well. Boom, boom. Either way, we're just gonna be running the 1 planes since we have so much treasure creation, and we're just gonna be running 1 so we can possibly fetch it with this card. So the plan is we venture into the dungeon, and then things happen. This is a finisher. I really don't think I want more than 1 of these. So we have that down. Search your library for a creature. Okay, we do. So this is actually interesting value. So we can, for 4, we can fetch these guys, and then we can create treasures. We can also get interesting like frog horrors. It's not bad, I guess. It is no. There used to be a Vile which got banned. Was so good in aggro decks. I forget the name. Either vial. Either vial. Let's see our ratio to creatures to non-creatures. So I think we're good in the creature department. We do want to axe non-creature spells by this point. And I think that probably, yeah, quite a bit expensive stuff. I like this. I like this. I like this. Think we can do without the dispute. I'm fond of this because if we do go late, I want to be able to fetch, I guess, these guys. And then it ends up costing me 3 because it creates a treasure. Do we have other legendary stuff to fetch? But if you draw it late, it's pretty awful, right? Yeah, just like drawing. If you don't start with it in your hand, it's pretty terrible. It is a way to fetch creatures somewhere in the late game, but it's not instant either. So I think I'll drop it. I think that overall, this is going to end up costing me more than you meet in a tavern. And this will actually let me get a couple of dudes, while this will only get me one. And there's nothing specific I really want to tutor for. And Spoils of the Hunt. So this is removal, but it's slightly subpar removal. It looks like our turn 3's turned from pretty heavy to pretty not so many. Idols, I'm typically going to be using them for treasure plus venturing into dungeon, and I believe we will finish dungeons in this deck because this is give or take what the deck does. I think we could drop a ranger. It is a way less to deal with big guys. I wonder, actually, maybe we drop a troll instead. Do we have things to do with troll other than be annoying? I guess it's okay. So top isn't very exciting, but in your hand is a decent usage of mana. We don't have a lot to put on the troll. We don't have the red equipment, so he's not as good, I guess. But he has something to ramp up to. We'll see. It's either going to be the troll or the ranger. 2 more cards to axe. Not easy. Not easy. Feign Death is pretty good with all of our guys that venture into the dungeon. Okay, I think I will drop 1 spoils. And we'll drop this is cute together. You can make infinite dryads. Yeah, we'll drop the dryad. Okay, this is gonna be the deck. No, no, no. And we're gonna add a bunch of forests. How many, you ask? 3. I'm actually considering going for and dropping the black mana to 5. Let's think about it. No, we're good. Okay, that was a pretty long decoration phase, and we'll see you guys in match number 1.